What's up, guys? I'm the Nearsighted Gamer. Thanks for coming to see me. I've played a lot of video games in my lifetime, and I've accumulated a lot of memories along the way. So I want to share some of them with you. These are my gaming memories. Last week, PlayStation celebrated its 25th anniversary. The original PlayStation was released on December 3rd, 1994 in Japan, and later in September of 1995 in America. And that's whenever me, along with like other several other teenagers and kids, got a hold of it. I love my PlayStation. I love all the systems I've had. I've had all of them pretty much, and I played several games, plenty of games throughout the lifetime. So for this video, I just wanted to share some games that stand out for me over all the consoles, as well as both the PlayStation Portable, the PSP, and the Vita as well. So with that being said, let's just get right into it. PlayStation 1. PlayStation 1 would be known for several RPGs. If you played RPGs and you had a PlayStation, you know what I'm talking about. That's where Final Fantasy VII came in. Final Fantasy 8, 9. I didn't play 8, but I was a fan of 9. I was a fan of 7. I loved that there were games like Brave Fencer Musashi, and those are ones that stand out to me. And there was a whole lot more. There was strategy RPGs. PlayStation 1 was the RPG machine. They were just cranking games out, man, cranking them out, and it was insane how many there were. But I'm not gonna talk about one specific RPG. I just wanted to talk about how many RPGs there were, and that I played a ton of them. But if I wanted to talk about something specific, I would talk about games like Parasite Eve. That is a game, and I guess it's kind of an RPG, like an action RPG. That is a game that I so hope to get a remaster of. If that game was redone in the RE engine, Resident Evil 2 remake engine, it would be great. It has that horror aspect to it, which would really work with the tone of this game. But I don't know if that would be possible. That's Capcom, and then this is Square. Maybe they would make some kind of partnership or whatever. I would love for that game to come back. But I can't talk about PlayStation 1 without talking about Street Fighter Alpha 3. I know, I've talked about this game so much. Me and my friends played it so much, various copies, but it's definitely iconic. If you were to ask any of them what game stands out, they would definitely say Street Fighter Alpha 3 as well as other games that they played. But we played so much Street Fighter Alpha 3, and it was just the three of us. So we were only know our skills based on how we played against everybody else. We would always try different characters. We had team battle, the Infinity Battle, going through World Tour. We picked that game apart, man. Had our save files and all that. So much was played. Everybody would come to my house, and we loved it. I'm surprised we didn't go through different controllers. We never broke any controllers. We played it so much. I'm surprised that those controllers lasted. I guess that's a testament to how good PlayStation controllers were then. But man, so many hours played with Street Fighter Alpha 3. NFL Blitz. Now, there's an interesting story with this. There were two games that came out, NFL Blitz and NFL Extreme. Both were arcade football games. My plan when I went to Walmart was to get NFL Extreme. They didn't have it. But I wanted to, I'm going to get a game. You go there set to get a game. You plan on coming back with a game. You might have to sacrifice and just okay, well, I'll get this instead. But you want to get a game if you have your mindset on going to the store and coming back with a game. They didn't have Extreme, so I got Blitz. I was like, I don't know anything about this. And turns out I made a good decision. It was the better of the two. So much Blitz was played. That's where my current favorite team, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah. But that's where they became my favorite team because of playing with them, and I love their gameplay. I didn't have a favorite team at the time, and I watched some football, but after that, that's when they became my favorite team because of Jerome Bettis, my favorite player as well. And so we all, again, at my house, it was the center of the gaming, the gaming escapades. And we played several games of that, like playing 2 minute games, 2 minute quarters if you wanted to have a quick game, if you wanted to just play a long thing, and it was just me and somebody else, and we just wanted to play a long game, play 8 minute quarters. It's great, man, putting in codes and all like that. And then I end up playing NFL Extreme later on to see what I missed, and it sucked. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't buy that, because I was buying those. I wasn't renting through GameFly like I am now. Yeah, so I didn't waste my money. It ended up being great. And luckily, I didn't buy Extreme later on when I played it. I borrowed it from someone else, and I was like, whew, glad I didn't buy this. So, and NFL Blitz, another one that was played so much. Tenchu Stealth Assassins. Yeah, Tenchu was a game that I ended up getting because I let someone borrow a game of mine, and they let me borrow that. It's like, you can play Tenchu. It's this game about ninjas. Like, oh, ninjas are cool. And I played it. It's like, yeah, this is pretty cool. And they ended up not giving me the game back, but I didn't really push it because I was like, cool, I'll take this. And I ended up liking it, playing it, playing on Grandmaster, using all kinds of skills. The PlayStation 1 game, so you imagine how it looked. And at the time, I didn't know. Well, of course I didn't know. It was made by From Software, and they would go on to make, all the Souls games and the Bloodborne games. I wish they would make a new Tenchu game with this generation's graphics or next generation's graphics. That would be fantastic. I was hoping that Sekiro was it. People were speculating that it could be. I was like, please, 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 please. But it wasn't. But a new Tenchu game in this generation would be great, be fantastic. I would love it. PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 is where I played two of my favorite RPGs, Star Ocean Till the End of Time and Grandia 2. You've heard me talk about Grandia 2 and Star Ocean Till the End of Time in my most recent video. As far as faves go, there's a Grandia series and the Star Ocean series, with Grandia 2 and Till the End of Time being the standouts for me. I've played through Grandia 2, I don't know how many times, and the story in Till the End of Time is amazing. But I still can't decide which battle style I like the best, though. So I'm not going to spend too much time about it. It's just that it's great whenever you find an RPG that you really connect with, that you get pulled on, you get pulled through it by the story. Like you think about it whenever you're not playing it. And then whenever you're playing it, you're like, well, let me just get these characters to this level. Let me just get to this place. Let me just go over here and see what's over here. And it just keeps pulling you and pulling you. Before you know it, it's like 3 a.m. You're like, oh, crap. But yeah, that's what Star Ocean was. And Grandia, I just liked the fighting style. The story was predictable. I knew where it was going. But I liked the writing in it. It made me laugh. And the fighting style. Like I said, not to take away from the fighting style of Star Ocean, but the fighting style was more prominent in Grandia than it was in Star Ocean. But I still can't pick between the two. And God of War. What else? Oh, buddy. God of War, I loved it. I played the crap out of it. Funny thing is, when I seen the commercial for God of War, I didn't really think that I would like it. And my girlfriend was like, that looks like something that you would like. And I was like, really? I'm like, huh. And then her brother played it, and I watched him play it, and I watched him play like the first level. And I was like, oh my gosh, really? You can do all that? And like, yeah, okay, well, this is a game that I like to play. And then I think he beat it. And after he beat it, I borrowed it and played it through. And then that was it. That was it. God of War 2. All the way through, man. Both of them. I love those games. They were great. It's fantastic. Just insane how two games like that came out. Everybody was talking about those. I beat the first one on God mode, which is the hardest difficulty. I wasn't able to get the second one on the hardest difficulty. I got to the end, but there's like a gauntlet section, which was so hard. I still plan on trying to go back and get that, because that's one of the ones that got away. And you know how that is. There's that one little part in the game that just holds you back. Yeah, that was it. That was God of War 2 for me, beating it on. I think it wasn't God mode. It was Titan mode. Yeah, I never did beat that. And it gets to me. Also, there's other games like Kinetica, which was this futuristic racing game where you had like these racing suits on and you would go through these weird tracks and you do tricks and build up boosts. It's very futuristic, very cool. They did do a remake, a PS2 remake, and I have it currently on PS4, which is great. I mean, when I found out about it, I was like, oh man, cool. I actually put a video out about that, well, me playing it. So go check that out if you want to see what the game is all about. And there's plenty of other PlayStation 2 games, but weirdly enough, I can't think of too many right off the bat for PlayStation 2 because that's really far back. Not that I didn't love my PlayStation 2, but this is the system where a lot of them just don't jump out at me. Like, I didn't make a list. I was just going to do this straight off the top of my head. That way, it would show which ones really mean that much to me if I could just bring them up from memory. I'm sure there's several other games and several I've missed. PlayStation 3, Infamous 1, and Infamous 2. Infamous 1. Again, I made the good decision here, kinda. Infamous 1 and Prototype came out around the same time, and I was interested in Prototype, and I was always look at videos for it on game trailers, and then there would be videos for Infamous. I was like, what is this? And like, I didn't look at it because it wasn't Prototype. And then I finally decided to look at it, and I found out that it was comic book related and it was superhero related. I was like, oh, that actually looks pretty cool. And at the last second, I changed my mind and jumped from Prototype to Infamous, and I'm glad I did. And just like with Blitz, I played Prototype again later, and it wasn't as bad as Extreme was to Blitz, but I didn't like it. Like, the story was weird. I mean, it was cool how you could, like, you know, fly and do all that crap like that, but the story just wasn't pulling me in. Infamous, on the other hand, very comic booky, very cool powers. Like, the story was pretty cool. I'm not going to give anything away. If you haven't played the first Infamous, I'll just say go play it. And then Infamous 2 came out, and everything ramped up, man. There was a graphical increase, and like the beginning of Infamous is one of the best intros that I played in the game. It's like, you know what? We're here. Let's do it. Started off strong, and I have a really cool memory regarding this. One of my cousins who passed away was into games, and he knew he liked video games, but he didn't play them as much as I did. And he wanted me. I went over and hung out with him one night, and he was like, "Man, show me some cool stuff." Like, I brought my PlayStation 3 over there. He's like, "Show me some cool stuff, man. Show me something." I was like, "Oh, I can show him Infamous." And I showed him the beginning of Infamous, and I was like, "This is how the game starts." He was like, "What?" Like, yeah, this is how it starts. And then I went through the beginning of it, and then whenever I finally got to where you could open up and I got free roam, I was like, "Check this out." And I went to like that large clock tower in the city, and I was like, "Check this out. Like, you can just climb, free climb everything." And I climbed to the very top and stood up on the very top of it. I was like, "You can do that." I said, "Now here, you play." And he went, and it's just like, you know, the way some people play GTA and they just go all out and don't even really play with the story. They just do all the crazy stuff. That's what he did. And me and him that night, we hung out, and I played through some of the story to get some more powers, and I showed him how it was, and he would play. And I got to convey how cool that game was to someone else who felt the same way. And that's really cool when you can do that. Like, if you like a song and you want someone to hear, like, "Man, this song is so cool." Like, for them to actually feel the same way you feel about something, whenever you show it to them, he's like, "Oh, that's so great." And he did, and that was really cool. There was Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That's the fight. That was a fighting game I liked on there. It was cool. And then Street Fighter 4 came out, and it was like, Street Fighter's back. And it was fine, but I was super rusty at Street Fighter. So that one doesn't stand out as far as being one of my favorites, but I had a lot of history with it because it came back, and it was cool because it was Street Fighter again. And then they did the Street Fighter thing, or Street Fighter Ultra Street Fighter Arcade Edition. They just went ahead and just constantly keeping up, making different kinds. But I played a lot of Street Fighter, Ratchet and Clank. Oh, I can't believe I forgot Ratchet and Clank. Like I said, off the top of my head. So Ratchet and Clank, real quick. PlayStation 2, yes, that's where Ratchet and Clank started. And I got into it and I played all the games through on PlayStation 2. I played Ratchet and Clank, Going Commando, Up Your Arsenal. I even played Deadlocked and Size Matters. And I'll get into that, but I also played, Secret Agent Clank and the other ones like that on PSP, but I'll get to that. But whenever PlayStation 3 came out, they made Ratchet and Clank, what was it? Future Tools of Destruction. Yes, and the graphics got ramped up. It was still Ratchet and Clank. It just looked a whole lot better. Played that. Played the little DLC, Quest for Booty. Played A Crack in Time. All those games stand out. I love them, man. It was great. I love my PS3. I actually still have my PS3. I don't have a PS2 and I don't have a PS1, but since I have a PS3, I have a PS1 as well. I don't have one of the PS3s that plays PlayStation 2 games. I would love to have that. If the PlayStation 5 comes up, maybe I won't need to have it, but I'm getting into the weeds. I think I'm about done with PlayStation 3. PlayStation 4, the one I'm most familiar with. I'm not going to say too much about PS4, except for Second Son, Infamous Second Son. I didn't like this one as much as Infamous 2. Infamous 2 is my favorite, but I did like it. I remember getting this game in. I ordered it and it came in the mail and no one was home. And normally when I play games, I like to have the setting set. Like, so if I get a game and like people are there and I can play it, I don't want to. I want to have the setting set where I can play it for an extended period of time. I don't want to just chip at it and play like 10 minutes. Be like, okay, that's cool. I play when I want to play, and I can play for a long time, not have to worry about anything, get whatever tasks or things hanging over my head out of the way. But when this came in, no one was home. I was like, screw this. I'm playing right now. I cracked it open, popped it in, turned up the volume, sat there, and like, I loved it. Like, it's like, Infamous is back. That is the reason I wanted a PlayStation 4. And I wanted it to be the first game that I got from my PlayStation 4, but it wasn't. It was the second, so still close enough. And then Horizon Zero Dawn, 2017 Game of the Year. We were robbed. That game, again, I talk about story so much. The story that they conveyed in the trailers for that really, really made me want to play it. And I was hoping that I wouldn't be disappointed in it, and built it up in my head, but I wasn't. I think the story is fantastic on that, and you really feel for Aloy, and I think she has really established herself as a PlayStation character and somebody that can be referred to. Like, they did a really good job with her. I like the gameplay. I didn't think I was going to like it so much, it being, bow and arrow based, but it ended up working out fine because they have different things other than just that, different types of weapons. It's not like just a gun or just super melee combat focused. It took a different tone with it, and robot dinosaurs, man. Robot freaking dinosaurs. So, of course, there are plenty more PlayStation 4 games, but since that's so recent, I'm not going to dwell on that. You know what cool PlayStation games are out there. Run through the rest of them real quick. PSP, God of War, Chains of Olympus, and Ghost of Sparta. When I found out there was going to be a God of War game on my PSP, I freaked out. I took my PSP with me everywhere I went. I had this game on it where you could play kind of like a rhythm game with the songs you had on your PSP. So I always had a really cool game with me. I love that. I can't think of the name of it. But the God of War games are what stands out to me. I played both of them all the way through. I loved it. Like I said earlier, Secret Agent Clank. I didn't think I was going to like it because I was like, it's not Ratchet and Clank. It's just Clank. But I got it, and it was straight up the same thing. Just more Ratchet and Clank style gameplay. I loved it. Vita, Persona 4 Golden. I tried Persona 3 on PlayStation. I was like, that was my first time playing a Persona game. I'm like, I don't get this. And I didn't really get into it. So whenever Golden came out on the Vita, I was like, I'll try it again. And it clicked for me this time. And having that game on a handheld was the best decision they ever made. You would be able to like just pick it up, play, put it down, go through a dungeon, do all this. It was the perfect game. The perfect system for that game, which is why I wish they would put Persona 5 on Switch. I'd probably play through it again, all 172 hours of it. Yeah, I'm a crazy person. But yeah, Persona 4 Golden is what I think of when I think of my Vita. Um, there's other games I had, but I liked my Vita. It just wasn't my. It wasn't as cool to me. I didn't love it as much as I did when I got my PSP. Everybody who had a PSP will tell you that they love their PSP, and I love my Vita too, but it just didn't have the same thing. They didn't support it as much. That's why it's going away. But yeah, all through my life, PlayStation has been a very important part. I've had them all. I plan on on getting the 5 as well. I don't think Sony should do another handheld. We're past that. Let's just work on making the PlayStation console as good as we can. So I hope that this has given you a little bit of insight into my PlayStation history. And if you have some PlayStation games that you love on any of the consoles or handhelds, put them in the comments and let me know what game sticks out to you. And yeah, so we can talk about it and let me know if you some of the ones that I had. Oh, of course I'm going to forget some. Can't forget Burnout 3. The rest of them don't matter. Burnout 3 on PlayStation 2, Takedown, the best Burnout ever. So many memories of playing that game, man. Crash Mode, Road Rage, like there's so many games. I try my best to like set them up in between consoles, but you know, I had to jump around. There's some I forget, some I didn't forget. Like I know I forgot a ton of PlayStation 1 games. There's just so many. Like so many. And I know there's a lot of other ones, but these are just ones that stand out to me right off the bat that I can think back on when I think of that console and that game jumps out. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to do to pay tribute to PlayStation turning 25. Man, it's crazy because I can remember when the PlayStation came out and me and my brothers freaking out over putting a disc in there. And we were like, loading? What does that mean? And we found out what loading means, but it was great. Fantastic. DualShock over that. Like the first time I held the DualShock controller, because you know before the PlayStation 1 had the little bone controllers, and then when they introduced DualShock with the analog, all that you're playing, and then like the controls shook, and it's like what the crap, like almost dropped it. And so I would show each one of my friends that after that, like here, hold this, and they play like what the heck was that, and we just kept doing it to people. And then now, like if a controller doesn't vibrate, you're like wow, no DualShock, no rumble. But yeah, there was a time whenever it didn't, and it was very foreign to us. So many memories, man. So many PlayStation memories. Any PlayStation memories you got? Any games that like stand out? Any games that you want to be remade? PlayStation games you wish would come back, get remasters? Let me know in the comments, and we'll definitely talk about it. I read my comments, and I would love to hear what y'all think and what y'all have involving PlayStation. 25 years, and they're not going anywhere. They'll probably be here for another 25. And if I can, I'll make a video about it then. That'll be crazy. That'll be crazy. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Like this video if you like it. If you don't like it anyway, because I said so. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please do so. It'll take like 2 seconds. See? And follow me on Twitter at NearsightedGamer, GAMR. Like my Facebook page, facebook.com/nearsightedgamer, and follow me on Instagram at _nearsighted_gamer. Again, I appreciate you guys watching. You're the best. Thanks for all your support. And I guess all that's left to say is, as always, be excellent to each other. See you, pupils.